Good morning. My name is Matt Dratt. I'm the membership coordinator here at the Peoria Riverfront Museum, and welcome to Breakfast with the CEO Digital Edition. We would have been joining you live today, but given our current situation, we felt that the digital edition was a great way to change it up a little bit and to provide you with the kind of questions and answers that you wanted to see here at the breakfast today. So we're going to be going ahead, and now I'm going to have you meet our president and CEO, John Morris. John, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Matt.
We're so excited to be able to provide this opportunity for our Associate and Visionary Society members to hear from you and hear about what's happening at the museum. I want to go ahead and start off with the thing that's, I think, top of mind, several questions that we received from our members as we solicited them for this program was, given the extraordinary circumstance that we find ourselves in our community, in our society, and here at the museum, can you tell us a little bit about how the museum is responding here in our current situation?
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for seeking the questions from our members that you'll be asking me today. And first of all, let me say to our members, I'm sorry that we weren't able to get together for breakfast. So this is Breakfast with the CEO without the breakfast. So on behalf of all of us, our board and staff here at the museum, we know these are trying times in our community, and our museum is devoted and defiant, if you will, against the storm approaching to continue to supply inspiration. And today is the first example of how we hope to do this. We'll be launching Friday, today, when you'll see this, a virtual Peoria Riverfront Museum. And it's our intent to take all the tools of social media, from Facebook to Instagram, from YouTube to our website and emails we'll be sending you, to get you content that continues to help inspire you. It's incredible the team here has come together to look for all sorts of new ways to get content out to you. So, Matt, to the question that was asked, we are going to continue to serve our members with inspiration, which is what we've been doing all along.
Thank you, John. I really appreciate that. And I know that the members look forward to being able to join us again once this situation passes. Another one of our members wants to ask a little bit about themselves. The members, Visionary Society, the associate members, and what trends, what information can we share about how membership is being focused in on at the Peoria Riverfront Museum?
Yeah, it's a great question. Membership is the foundation of who we are. The museum is a building, yes. The museum has a collection and exhibitions, yes. But fundamentally, above all, the museum is a community of people who seek to inspire each other and be inspired by each other. And the foundation of that museum community is our members. They're people like you who make contributions each year at either at the basic family member level, or we've grown the Visionary Society, $1,000 plus donors. The museum tripled that in the last 3 years. So that membership is so important to us and will continue to be important to us, even these tough times where the building must be closed for public safety purposes. But as members, you are part of this experiment, if you will, this ongoing experiment to transform our community into a place of inspiration and learning. You know, this time of year, typically the hallways are filled with excited voices of touring school children, thousands of them who come from all over the region, probably a 100-mile radius. We draw various school tours in, and it saddens us that right now the hallways are quiet on the inside of the building, but through this new virtual Peoria Riverfront Museum effort, we hope our members particularly will become ambassadors and users of all the content we're able to put out there.
Now, just as a follow-up, we know that members see themselves as part of a greater community, and really they have a significant impact on the operations of the museum. Can you talk a little bit about, even just from a budgetary perspective, how membership fits into the overall scheme of the financial well-being of the museum?
Yeah, we have 4,300 members of the Peoria Riverfront Museum active right now. It's a record high number of members. We've been open, of course, in this building and under the name Peoria Riverfront Museum since 2012. Those 4,300 members collectively, the basic family members, the associate members who give $150 or $250 or $500, and the Visionary Society members who give more than $1,000, collectively they give $1 million a year, a little more, in support of our roughly $5 million annual operating budget. And those members are a fundamental foundation of everything we do here at the museum. Membership, of course, offers a lot of benefits and privileges to those who are members. Not only are they a part of this community of inspiration, but membership offers the admission and the discounts and the reciprocal benefits to museums around the country and around the world.
Many of our members are asking this question, and it's a very simple one, is the Blockbuster and other exhibits that we have here at the Peoria Riverfront Museum, what is the process? How do we go about selecting those exhibitions to share with our community?
So for those who wrote in that question to ask of me this morning, let me address it to you. The board of directors here at the Peoria Riverfront Museum, our chairman, Steve Jackson, and the 21 members who serve voluntarily and who give generously to help lead this institution, they and our staff developed a strategic plan a year and a half ago to really concentrate on bringing blockbuster exhibitions, what we call blockbuster exhibitions. These are big, fun, traveling international exhibitions like Art of the Brick, the Lego art of Nathan Sawaya, which we brought in this past summer, Leonardo da Vinci, which we are upset we had to close the doors on 8 days earlier than expected. This summer's Creatures of Light from the American Museum of Natural History. We hope and pray that we'll get the clear and the opportunity to reopen this museum in time to get ready for that exhibition, of course, which will be opening Memorial Day through the whole summer. And out in the future, looking at T-Rex, the ultimate predator, coming from the American Museum of Natural History the following summer. And in the fall, Guitar, the Instrument That Rocked the World, an incredible exhibition coming from the Museum of the Guitar in New York City, the largest and most important of the traveling exhibitions ever assembled on the history of the guitar, the physics of the guitar, the science of the guitar, the music that has emanated from the guitars, and the Guinness Book of World Records largest playable guitar. So that's coming this fall. And let me mention, Matt, that around these blockbuster exhibitions, and we invest heavily in getting them here, and our donors help us, we build themes in the community. We build the momentum around different themes. So, for example, the guitar, the instrument that rocked the world, the community is building around that and around other things happening with the guitar in our community. This Peoria Civic Center, our friends at WTVP Public Media, the Peoria Public Library, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, the City of Peoria is leading an effort to bring these and many other groups together to sponsor something we call the Year of the Guitar that really was set to begin about now. So we're going to pause, of course, on being out in public and groups and listening to music at this point. But the time will return where the Year of the Guitar comes full force in our community, and our exhibition this fall will be at the centerpiece of that. So, in other words, we're building around these blockbuster exhibitions themes that can lift up and serve the community.
You know, some of our members wanted to talk a little bit specifically about Da Vinci itself, and they were going to bring friends over the last several weeks, and obviously because of our closure, we haven't had an opportunity to present Da Vinci, but they have simple questions like, how did we decide to bring Da Vinci? Why this particular exhibit? Why the Mona Lisa? How much did it cost to bring Da Vinci to the Riverfront Museum? How can you help share some information about that?
Well, this exhibition was chosen by our staff. Let me address that question from a member. This exhibition was chosen by our staff because it is the 500th anniversary of the death of Leonardo da Vinci, 1519, arguably the greatest genius of the Renaissance, if not of all time, an engineer, a botanist. He studied birds. He studied city planning. He had such an incredible mind, not to mention that he was a great artist. 15 of his paintings exist today that we know with certainty were Leonardo da Vinci's, by Leonardo da Vinci's hands. Hundreds and hundreds of pages of the notes that he wrote were assembled into various notebooks called codices, each one a codex. Our exhibition, if you got a chance to see it, and I hope that you did, was an exhibition of inventions, mostly of inventions and some art of Leonardo da Vinci, assembled by modern-day engineers using the diagrams from these notebooks. And we thought, as a multidisciplinary museum, art, science, history, achievement, the only museum of our kind in the nation, who better than Leonardo da Vinci to sort of bring all of those aspects together? And it's been so gratifying to see thousands and thousands of people come and experience Leonardo da Vinci in Peoria. Who knew? It took us 500 years to get Leonardo da Vinci to visit Peoria, but he has been here. And as I mentioned earlier, we're sad to close a little bit earlier than we thought on that exhibition. It will not be open to the public again because of the closure and because of our arrangements and crating it up. Interestingly, it comes from Australia. It was an Australia-based firm who put that exhibition together, and the folks from Australia cannot get here to help us take it down. So they've given us a lot of instructions on how to recrate everything and prepare it. And we'll be storing it for them, and until which time that firm makes a decision on next steps. So we'll still have Da Vinci in the crates in our own storage facilities here for those who might be interested in that. The Mona Lisa, Matt, you asked about the Mona Lisa, or the member sent a question about the Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa we had was the most exact copy of the Mona Lisa in existence. And we have really been privileged to show that as well. So,
You talked a little bit earlier about missing the sounds of children and students in the hallway. One of our members asked about the Every Student Initiative and in particular how membership and members themselves and their support of the museum affects positively that Every Student Initiative.
yeah, that's a great, thank you for forwarding that question from a member. And again, I'll address it directly to the member. The Every Student Initiative may be the most important thing that we've done in the time I've been here. 3 years. April 10 is my 3rd year anniversary. We launched something called the Every Student Initiative, which aspires to get every single student on a curriculum-related basis into this museum every year. And so we've had extraordinary success already with the Peoria Public Schools. We've added East Peoria. We're working with the Dunlap schools now to expand. We've begun to work with the diocesan schools. St. Phil's been our first diocesan school. We have also had success with Peoria Academy. We're working with them and many others. Our goal is to get every single student from every school on a curriculum-related basis into this museum every year for a dose of career-inspiring, confidence-building experiences. If they're in the 3rd grade studying the solar system, if that's the curriculum, they go to the planetarium, and our top planetarium staff gives them a little dose of inspiration in astronomy. If they're learning, in some cases, they learn about personal narratives in the English classes now. They'll go through an art exhibition. They'll learn about the background of the artists, for example. So much more to come with the Every Student Initiative. This is supported by grants from foundations and also individuals who give money to support that. We are, incidentally, during this time of closure, we are finding ways to continue to serve our young people with fun, inspiring content.
If people were here today, one of the things that would be most obvious is a change in the Illinois River Gallery and some modifications and reimagining of that space. One of our members who knows about that asks, what does that look like and how is that going to change and move forward?
Well, we have 5 major galleries and 9 what we call dispersed cases around the museum. We have other areas where we display things as well. But among these 5 major galleries are, of course, probably most familiar, those first 2 galleries where we bring in temporary exhibitions and rotate them. The other 3 galleries have been pretty stagnant for the last 7.5 years since we opened. A gallery which is to the back of the IHSA interactive space is a gallery we call the River Gallery. And it had an excellent exhibition on the history of the creation of the river valley and the cultures from the Native Americans to the explorers. But in recent planning, we really decided that we could get significantly more out of rotating some exhibitions in there. So the back 2/3 of that space will now be rotating exhibition space. And when we are able, we will open an exhibition of the most famous wildlife photographer in the country, Thomas Mengelson, who's famous grizzly bear about to chomp on the salmon with a waterfall in the background, maybe one of the most, or if not the most famous wildlife photograph in existence. We'll have that photograph among more than 40 others from Thomas Mengelson. So that back 2/3 of the River Gallery will be constantly changing 2 to 3 times a year with new exhibitions, new content. At the center of that gallery, we plan the Center for American Decoys. The major element of our permanent collection here, we've got the finest collection of Midwest waterfowl decoys, these beautiful hand-carved decoys initially made for practical purposes by hunters, which have now become the most collectible folk art in America. We are so proud to be really a national leader in the area of waterfowl decoys. So the Center for American Decoys, the extraordinary gift by Bond French and his wife Holly, honoring Bond's father Taylor French, created the Taylor French Decoy Fund, also honored Bond's mother Joan Trenchard French with a welcome center here as well. But the Decoy Center for American Decoys will be at the center of what is called the River Gallery right now. And finally, in the front end of the River Gallery will be an entry that still talks about the history of the river, from the Kankakee Torrent to the Native Americans to the European settlers, the earliest French settlers in the nation here along the Illinois River. So a lot of really terrific changes coming in the River Gallery.
Thanks, John. And another member asks about accreditation and the museum's accreditation and wants to know a little bit more about how that works. Where do we stand with our accreditation? Can you help share that?
I can, Matt, and I have to say I love whomever the member is who asked this question. I love our members. They're so informed and they ask interesting questions. Most of the general public probably doesn't realize it, but very few museums are accredited by our Professional Standards Accreditation organization, the American Alliance of Museums, AAM. Accreditation requires significant standards to be met for security, for climate control, for the way we handle our objects, for the way we care and catalog our objects, for the professional standards and ethical standards we use with our membership and our development area. Accreditation is an arduous program, just like it is for higher education. Of the 30,000, consider this, of the 30,000 museums, historical societies, art museums, science centers, historical societies, zoos, who are members of the AAM, about 1,000, a little more than 1,000, are accredited. The Peoria Riverfront Museum is one of those and has been since 1973. We were one of the earliest accredited museums in the country when we were Lakeview Museum of Arts and Sciences back in our former location. And of course, as most of you know, Lakeview Museum staff and collection and endowment rolled into the organization we have today, the Peoria Riverfront Museum, established in 2012 here in this facility on the riverfront. So that's what accreditation is, and I appreciate the sophistication of our members to ask about it and know about it. One more thing I'll add is that we often are able to borrow from magnificent collections from the Whitney Museum of American Art in New York City, our affiliation with the Smithsonian and ability to borrow John Deere's first plow from the Smithsonian, or the first Caterpillar diesel engine ever made, which we have on loan. Many of these things are related to our accreditation status and how we have the standards that can give folks the confidence they need.
Finally, given everything that the museum has done over the last many years and what it potentially will face over the next many months, one of our members asked this final question is, what does the future of the Peoria Riverfront Museum now in the near term and in the long term look like for the community and for members? Can you share a little bit about that?
Thank you. Well, to whomever asked, what does the future look like? Let me say thank you for that question, because it's the best one of all. The future looks bright. Even though these are very trying times, we're up against a storm like we've never seen in our lifetimes, and our prayers go out to everybody in the healthcare field and those who will be facing this illness, have or will be. That is, of course, the highest priority of the community and of the world today as we face this pandemic. That said, there is always a place for inspiration in our lives. There is always a place for the contemplation that looking up at the sky and gazing into an infinite, unbelievable universe filled with billions of galaxies and trillions of stars beyond our comprehension. There's always a place to look into the eyes of a portrait painted by a great American Impressionist painter like Pauline Palmer, who's painted our beautiful portrait that hangs in our office right now, and to take inspiration from what that person was thinking in the past and what feelings that brought over the artist and that brings over us today. There's always that place where looking at these incredible duck decoys, which to my surprise have been super popular with our young people, our young visitors, and wondering why was it that some hunter took hundreds of hours to carve and paint the most meticulously beautiful painted duck or goose when in fact none of that was necessary to attract them from the sky for hunting and purposes and for getting sustenance from the sky. Why did they go to such lengths? Was it their pride of country? Many of them were immigrants. Was it competition with each other? There's always a place to go into the giant screen theater, the only giant screen theater at a museum in the state of Illinois, and see a 70-foot wide, incredible movie on a topic like Into America's Wild, our brand new exhibition, our brand new film in there that just is awe-inspiring about the great landscape and geography of our country, or to go hear our guest film curator Mark Elliott carry on about Alfred Hitchcock or the films of John Ford, and contemplate the movies of Stanley Kubrick at a film festival we had to suspend and postpone, but we'll be back. So there's always a place for inspiration, and the Peoria Riverfront Museum will be holding up the torch high for many years to come, and we believe the public will be with us to do that as we look to the future. The future is bright.
Thank you, John. Thank you for sharing all of this inspiration to our members. And thank you for joining us today on the Breakfast with the CEO Digital Edition. For more information and to follow our virtual Peoria Riverfront Museum initiative, please look at our website and take a look at all the content that we'll be providing over the next weeks and months. And thank you again for joining us. Be safe and have a great day.